we all have thoughts, and people have hurt us in life, and we think, okay, I'm gonna do that, and then you're like, oh, that's a bit far, and then you move on. But the thought of I'm gonna do a mass shooting on even innocent people, is a bit wild.
Yeah. Today we are reviewing the drama, as you can see.
Dum dum dum.
The new film with Zendaya and
Robert Pattinson.
I can't get
You can never get his name right.
Edward.
He's Edward.
Oh, he's not Edward. You know what's funny as well?
He's
he
Robert.
hates I don't want to speak for him, but he kind of hates the Twilight franchise. He makes fun
Oh,
of
he
it.
does it.
He
makes
fun of it when he can. Like, he's not. Yeah, he's not.
You
the
think he's
biggest fan.
embarrassed with that body of work?
I don't think he should be though. I don't think he should be. Like, you see the growth. A lot of people don't have such a long career, so I don't think he should be. But then now I think back on the franchise, and it was like way more cringy than
you
realized
imagine.
at the time.
I remember I watched it back maybe when I was 17, 18. So I think I first watched it maybe when I was like maybe 13. You know, when you wait a few years before you watch a film, watched it, I was like, what is this, man?
All I can say is never watched it.
Never watched it.
Never watched it. Don't plan to. Is it worth me watching it?
No.
Okay.
Not at this point, because I think you're gonna watch it back and just be like, you lot are tripping.
We should,
as kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, as kids, I would
but
get it.
also, it's something we could review now as adults and see how.
I want to tear it down if I do.
That's great.
Just absolutely everything about it. But anyway, this is not a Twilight review. This is a drama review, and it was actually produced by A24. This was, I think, their first film since Marty Supreme. Which was another great film they did towards the end of last year. They are also responsible for Everything Everywhere All at Once and Civil War that came out, I think it was a few years ago.
Yeah.
I think you watched that, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, you did.
But yeah, some of my favorite films of those years.
Yeah.
They always produce very interesting films, very dark, gritty films. So I feel like when people heard that this was a rom-com, they were like, A24 rom-com.
How's it gonna work?
Something's afoot.
But you could tell they put a lot of effort behind this one. I think a lot of marketing was done to kind of make people want to go out and see this film. They had a pop-up wedding in Vegas where people can literally go up to, it's not really a registry, but like a church, and get themselves married. People get married in there.
That's crazy.
Legit. They were saying, they're doing this film, why not? Let's go get married. So people were getting married, and Zendaya actually popped up at
a wedding, yeah.
A few weddings in there. So they put a lot of effort behind that. They had a lot of retro sort of pictures with Zendaya and obviously Robert Pattinson.
They had the newspaper engagement announcement.
Yeah. So even me looking at that, I was thinking, oh, what do we have here? What's going on? And I think Ash, she's the one that recommended we do this film.
Yeah, she was the one. Yeah,
she did.
We watched the trailer, remember, together.
Yeah, we did.
We watched it on FaceTime, yeah.
Before we watched it, I was just thinking, oh, here we go, Ash again with one of those ones. But yes, let's be inclusive here and see what it's about. And I can't lie, from the trailer, I said, yeah, we got to do it.
Yeah,
from the trailer.
100%.
That was one of the best trailers I've seen in a while in terms of not telling us what this is about.
Not ruining the film, but enough intrigue.
Yeah.
I can I just say that I've been nervous all week. Because I've been if you guys don't like the film, oh my gosh, I'm going to get flamed in the group chat.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Oh, Ash made us watch this. Da, 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 da. I was like...
She did the little temperature check when she said, oh guys, I've seen it, I'm not sure. I was like, we're doing it. I've seen it as well. It was a good choice. I'm happy that we actually reviewed this film because it's getting a lot of buzz right now, and rightly so. It's not even been out for a week yet. And you can see the amount of things are said about it online and the discourse around the film. But yeah, I'm very happy that you picked it. Well done.
Oh,
yeah, big up. You done well with that one.
So the film is directed by Christopher Borgley, his name is, and he's also made a film called Dream Scenario, where I've not watched it, but I've heard things about it, where there's a man that pops up in everyone's dreams.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage or something.
Yeah, it's a bit weird. However, for this film, there was a lot of controversy around Christopher.
I saw that,
Yeah.
What, as him as a director or the
him as a director. So some people stood on business and said they're not going to be watching the drama because Christopher is in, or he had a relationship with a 17-year-old.
I think he made an essay or something.
He said in this country it wasn't illegal, but obviously people
I think
still
in
frown.
Norway,
Yeah, people still frown upon it.
But obviously over here, people are just saying, underaged. We're not rocking with this, and a lot of people have boycotted this film or boycotted any films that Christopher decides to direct. And there was a lot of people that are saying, I don't care if Zendaya's in it, don't care if Robert Pattinson film is cancelled. So I did have that in mind when going into the film, but hey ho, I watched it anyway. But yeah, this film is very interesting to me because it looks like he's worked with A24 a lot. Robert Pattinson has worked with A24 a lot, and it's really reminded me like we're moving towards where people have their little bubbles and networks where people like to work with people they've worked before, and they use that to create magic. So we spoke about before in the past, Michael B. Jordan, Ryan Coogler, the amount of films they've been together. There's chemistry there. We know there's James Cameron and Leonardo DiCaprio. We know there's Cillian Murphy and Christopher Nolan.
Yeah, Emma Stone and Yorgos Lanthimos.
Yes, exactly. So we're seeing a lot these days of partnerships where it's not... If you're not paying attention, you wouldn't realize. But if you are paying attention, you realize, wow, there's a lot of relationships either between directors, actors, or actors and studios. And I think it bodes well in their favor, as it makes these films actually better because they have that existing relationship already and they kind of know how each other works in a way. So that's one thing that I've picked up on. But hearing that Zendaya was starring this or seeing it, how did you feel about it?
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was actually very happy to see her in this. Especially when I saw the picture of her and Robert Pattinson with the ring. Obviously, at that time, everyone knew that she was getting married to Tom Holland and whatnot. So when that picture came out, it was a complete buzz to everyone. And I was quite intrigued as well because for me, I'm not really, I think I've said this before, I'm not really like a romance person.
Yeah.
And I've never really thought, I can't really think of a film where Zendaya's been in a romance. Is this like her first time?
I think this is her first, this is her third major film. I think she's done Malcolm and Marie.
Yeah.
She did Challenges that we reviewed, and now obviously
Challenger was
now she's done this. I do like what she does. She brings to the table. I love what she brings to the table. I've seen clips of obviously Euphoria and stuff, and she's amazing in there.
She's a stellar.
First came across her from, I used to watch Disney Channel, so Shake It Up. I have seen that. That's where I first came across Zendaya. But going into it, I just felt like, what do you have to offer? I know you have to offer something.
Yeah.
What do you have to offer?
This is going to be her first major role this year. So she's in 5 major projects this year: Euphoria, Spider-Man,
I think we posted about
Dune
that,
3, and The Odyssey. And then Robert Pattinson is also in 3 films: the Dune 3, the drama, The Odyssey. So this was like, I felt like this was the first film, along with Project Hail Mary, that was going to kick off the proper movie season of the year. So I was really excited to see her. You guys know I really loved her in Euphoria, but I'm waiting for her like magnum opus, and I was like, is this going to be her magnum opus? That's what her like defining role, the same way I'd say like Michael B. Jordan in Sinners, for example, or in Creed. That was his defining role. And so I was looking forward to it.
No, and I agree with that. I won't jump into any conclusions yet, but same thing, that fancy word that you said. I was actually looking for that as well to see is this gonna staple her as, she is a great actor, but just staple as in this is Zendaya's film. Like you said, you associate Michael B. Jordan with either like Creed or like that's his film. Are we going to see this as a Zendaya film? And obviously Robert Pattinson, we spoke about him briefly already. I was very familiar with him from obviously the Twilight series, Twilight movies. But yes, he has been in Batman. He was in Tenet. He was also in The Lighthouse, which was another A24 film, and The Good Time, which was also an A24 film. I feel like over the years, he's just blossomed into a more seasoned actor. Yeah, you really feel like you can get something from him. That's why I do laugh at the Twilight stuff, because there's a few things there. It's just, even his acting's a bit... it's just like, you know what, I'm just going to say everyone in that film, but you could just see over the years, he's just improved stage by stage by stage. And I think here again, He arrived perfectly with Zendaya, and I was just intrigued to see what they would deliver.
I think they both as well have really good taste
Yes.
with movies. When actors get to like a certain point in their career where they start to get to pick the projects that they want to do. Yeah. So yeah.
And this film suits him. It fits him. It fits him and Zendaya perfectly. Yeah. They just looked absolutely like right to be casted for these roles. But I say in this film we also had another, like I say there was 4 major actors. There was obviously Zendaya, Robert Pattinson, then we have Alana Haim as Rachel, and then we have Mamadou Athie as Mike. Those were the 4 major characters, unless I'm missing anyone.
No.
Yeah.
There is some side characters around them, but those were
the main ones.
This is where, we kind of get a sense of these guys are the main characters.
Yeah.
Those are the ones.
I wasn't super familiar with Alana Haim, but I feel like I was watching the Brit Awards one year and I heard of the Haim sisters and I was like, who are these people?
Yeah.
And she's a part of, like, she's actually a musician. And I love when a musician transitions into actor. Like, yeah.
So I am going to read a synopsis of the film. And after I read it, we're going to get into like the nitty gritty of the film. So if you haven't watched it, we know it only came out last Friday. If you haven't watched it, then pause it after our synopsis and come back and let us know. Unless you don't mind it being spoiled for you, then yeah.
Major spoiler warning, guys.
Major spoilers.
It's unavoidable. But the synopsis basically says you guys can agree at the end or disagree whether this is accurate. It says Emma and Charlie are a happily engaged couple whose relationship is put to the test when an unexpected turn sends their wedding week off the rails. What starts like a wedding rom-com quickly flips after one confession, becoming a film about whether you can truly love someone once you know everything about them. How accurate is that, guys?
Very accurate.
I think that's pretty accurate.
Very accurate.
Yeah, I find it very
That's
accurate
a good description.
Well. It is a very good description and it's exactly what we saw and it didn't match up with what I expected. So even though we saw the trailer and we know there was a moment in terms of what did she say, that kind of threw everything off the rails, we still weren't expecting the movie to even start the way it did. I felt like it started with like it had a light feeling to it where this is a rom-com. Like people were laughing when Charlie went up to Zendaya and he was trying to speak to her, but she had headphones in one ear and she's deaf in the other, and the cinema was actually giggling. Like it was quite funny. So I was thinking, okay, this is like, I just didn't expect us to get to where we got to in about half an hour into the film. What did you guys think when it first started?
When it first started, it just felt like a typical kind of rom film, really. You know, the couple, we're seeing how they've met each other, we're seeing we're seeing them do their vows, getting ready for everything, for the wedding. And I was just thinking, yeah, okay, this is typical, this is nice, but obviously because we all saw the trailer, I was thinking, okay,
at some point
something's gonna go wrong. But I want to know what Emma said. Yeah. Like, what did she say that made everyone just go, you know? So
I think the scene was kind of set up already from the trailer. Okay, the trailer didn't give much, but we knew the movie would kind of take some sort of turn when all of those 4 characters were sitting around a table discussing what is the worst thing that they've ever done.
But you know what? That's actually, I think the way they directed that first act, I think they've done it quite well because it made the audience feel relaxed. Like because I'm assuming that some people didn't watch the trailer. So
a lot of people didn't.
A lot of people didn't.
So they're seeing that first act and they're thinking, okay, this is calm, this is cool, it's typical. They're gonna fall in love, but everything seemed a bit too fast because it's like they're prepping for their wedding. So what is gonna happen up until that point?
I'm starting to think we should have watched that trailer.
I think so.
It would have hit more.
I was thinking so. Yeah.
Well, you guys would have never went to the cinema without watching the trailer. But I like that we got to know Emma through Charlie's eyes. Yeah, his lens. And I personally, and we'll get on to later on in the film, but I don't feel like I got to really know her outside of Charlie. So it painted a nice picture. It lulled me into a false sense of security. But I would have liked to get to know her a little bit better. But I don't know if we're gonna go on to the dinner scene.
We are gonna.
But they were walking in the street and they see their DJ.
Their DJ smoking. Was she actually smoking it?
I think it's heavily implied that she was.
She definitely was.
Because we know there was conversations around it, and then they did confront her at the end about it, but she was obviously denying that it wasn't her. And then at that point, Charlie doesn't even have a spine, so he's thinking maybe it wasn't her. Fucking, what's going on here? Like,
it's crazy.
I thought it was established that this is what she did, and now I'm doubting whether she did it or not.
Literally.
But yeah, we might as well get into it and get into that table discussion that kind of turns the movie in a different direction. And it starts off with, I don't know who brought it up. Either it was
I think it was Rachel.
Rachel, yeah, I think she's the one that brought it up. And
Yeah, it was.
I think Mike went first. And Mike basically said the worst thing he's ever done was I think
it was something to do with dog, innit?
Yeah,
something to do with dog or something
at the time, and there was a good dog, and the dog, you know, was running towards them and all aggressive and stuff. He basically used his girlfriend as a human shield to kind of duck away from the dog.
It's crazy.
Which is very shameful.
It is, but I don't think it's that deep.
It is.
Imagine if you're the pet. Imagine if you're the shield, though. How you feeling?
Compared to what else we heard around the table, I was like, oh, whatever. I even thought, oh, he's not being honest because come on, like.
I did think that for a second, but picture it in real life. If you have a man and he goes, oh my days.
Like, imagine I'm holding you like in front of a dog.
In front.
How you gonna feel? And the dog's biting.
You're like, this guy's disgusting. Like, you're embarrassing.
Literally.
But it's more embarrassing than it is like he done a bad thing.
It is a bad thing because that dog could have been dangerous or violent or bitten chunks into her. You've seen what dogs have done to people.
If it was a bulldog,
True.
remember?
Yeah, you've seen what dogs have done to
True,
people.
but then they didn't end up together. So I don't know. I don't like. I was not moved.
Let's say if that dog put her in hospital now. I mean, it wasn't implied what happened to her, but let's say if it did, then what?
Well, let's move on.
Yeah, then what? Dogs can be dangerous, but I get it. That was the first one, and it was pretty light. I think at the time as well. It was only upon reflection I'm saying what I'm saying, but at the time I was like, okay, like whatever. And Emma's one was a bit interesting. Not Emma, sorry. Rachel's one was a bit interesting. When she locked up a kid that had like special needs, or he could have been a bit disabled, and she locked him in like a closet. Was it a closet or a room?
Yeah, in the woods or something like that, innit?
No, it was a closet or something like that.
In a closet.
Yeah. And everybody was out looking for him, and she basically said, I
have a theory about that, you know.
What?
So in the beginning, she's like, oh, I locked him in a closet, and I don't know what happened to him. And then they kind of pressure her a bit, like, what the hell?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, yeah. He was found the next day. I have a theory.
That's not the case.
That's not the case.
That's not the 100%. Case.
The way that the rest of the film runs out, where we find out a bit more about her character.
Yeah.
I don't think that's the
there's
case.
something sinister about it. That it wasn't left there. And good observation, because I did thought at the time, just other things distracted us from coming back to it. Yeah. But I did think at the time, hold on, like this seems a bit.
Yeah.
She dismissed it way too quick. Yeah.
Everything in this movie is very intentional, and I think that was intentionally said, like.
So then the third person we move on to Emma. I don't know if
it wasn't even Emma. It was Charlie. But
Did we get Charlie?
Charlie was a neat though. Like
what was Charlie?
There was nothing.
He cyberbullied someone.
Yes, he did, and also maybe that's why I forgot, because I was like, "This is lame."
When you say made them move houses and stuff like that,
and made them move houses, I think
I didn't even believe that.
I didn't believe it.
He wasn't saying it convincingly, like.
Yeah, no, he's definitely done stuff, but it's just one of the ones that he's nervous, man.
Yeah,
he's nervous.
I didn't believe it, but you're gonna call me crazy. I think that's worse than a dog. I think because we're surrounded by online like hatred and blah blah blah, and people saying whatever they want. Yeah, that we're immune to how weird it is to go online and like start cyberbullying one specific person. I think that was worse than a dog.
We made them move houses in it, bro. That's mad.
Maybe he just made that up. I just felt like everyone was lying on that table, apart from Emma. Yeah, I feel like everybody told a little lie. Either they didn't tell the full truth, or they were a bit, reserved about what actually happened. But Emma, because she was drinking a little bit, I feel like she couldn't have the same filter as everyone else, or make up a lie like everybody else. And I think she said something thinking that she wouldn't be judged the way she was. I don't know if you guys want to.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I agree with some of the ones that like, even obviously after she said what she said, you kind of seen her reaction. She tried to like, the ones where someone says something wrong and they know it's wrong.
Yeah. And
then everyone in the room is kind of says that they're trying to brush it off and stuff like that. But it's like, no, man.
Have we said what was said?
No, we haven't said it yet.
So she basically considered a mass shooting at her school when she was, how old was she? Maybe like...
She was 15.
15. Yeah. So she basically just tried to say it lightly, like, yeah, when I was in school, da, 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 da. She didn't explain it until later, but that's how she kind of led with it.
Yeah.
Considered a mass shooting, and she just got like gobsmacked faces.
Yeah, and then they push her a little bit, and she reveals a little bit more and a little bit more that I brought the gun into school. And they're like, I think they thought she was joking.
Yeah.
At first.
Yeah.
And then she reveals a little bit more. She's like, oh, yeah, that's why I'm deaf in one ear, which we found out in the beginning. We thought was quite I don't want to say cute trait, but especially when, I think this was in the beginning when he was speaking trying to speak to her and covering her ear and thing. That was quite a really nice moment. Moment kind of shattered when you find out why she's deaf in one ear.
Well, I was a bit cringed by that, actually. Sorry, at that scene. Were you not cringed?
No, I thought that was really cute.
Oh, what scene?
When he's whispering in her ear saying, I love you, I want to marry you. And
no, I thought
the way he's whispering.
I mean,
you're
just doing it because you wouldn't do it.
Yeah, no.
That's why I hear it.
He knows she can't hear any of this, and it's just like, come on, man.
Because he's learning to be comfortable, isn't it?
Come on, man. That sort of thing. You don't practice it. You just do it when you know the person can hear it. Like, but anyway.
Some people aren't lovers like the rest of us.
Yeah, I guess so. He might be a real lover there. But yeah, how do I bring it back to my point?
How did you guys feel when you heard Emma's secret?
Yes.
I really want to know this.
I basically said she didn't do it, so let's move on.
Yeah, for me, I had that mindset as well, but at the same time, I was looking at it from Charlie's perspective as well, because it just begs the question, like, can you, like, we all, like, as humans, we all probably think of things in it, but we don't actually go out and do it.
But do you think Charlie's first perspective it was influenced by Rachel?
Yes, a little bit, because for me, it's like Charlie, as much as like he's like very like emotional and that, isn't it? But he also seems a little bit insecure as well. So obviously when he's like, you can already see, like, even when we were first introduced him, he seemed a little bit uneasy and
like he was nervous.
Just giving me those kind of vibes. So when you're, especially as a British man and obviously American gun culture and whatnot, he's not really as desensitized to it in comparison to like Americans. So his reaction is like, it's like the audience's reaction. Like, we are him. Like, we're reacting as him. Yeah. So I felt like, at the beginning, it made sense for him to react like that. But Rachel definitely had an influence, because it's like, what?
And I think he, at a point, was telling Rachel to chill. Even her partner was Michael. Yeah. He was telling her to chill as well. Everybody's like, Rachel, calm down. But she was just like, no. I was just thinking, yo, someone calm this girl down. Like,
so a bit of like group think, where you actually don't think something's that deep until everyone around you starts reacting. You're like, it is that bad. And to be honest, that was my reaction as well. I was quite like, well, I guess she didn't do it. And I was still stuck on Rachel locking a kid.
Yeah, that was even worse.
So I was like, oh, well, at least she didn't do it. But then the reactions from the cast, I was like, maybe it was bad. But I actually think, and I was like, this is kind of the perfect secret to reveal. From the trailer, I had no idea. And I was like, you know what? This is the perfect secret to reveal, because she didn't do it. But to have that mindset to do something like that, I think a lot of us have heard of like school shootings and stuff like that. Yeah. And I do think something comes to mind of, who would do that? That's like, it's such an evil, horrible thing, obviously. Vicious, violent act. It's awful. But it's also very weird. It's a very weird thing to do.
But then as she tells her story over the rest of the movie, you kind of get a bit of empathy for her, a little bit. To be bullied as a kid is a thing that people don't understand, right? And as a kid, you can feel like really alone, really lonely, and there's just something in you. I'm not saying that I was considering any of this, but there's something in you that makes you be like, I'm gonna make you pay, right? And not necessarily you make them pay by mass shooting and killing everybody, but you just feel like the way you made me feel, I want to make you feel like that. And it's not necessarily like even like thinking about killing people, but the fear that people get from being bullied makes them not want to go to school, makes them isolate themselves, make them basically live in their head where they just feel like they're nothing and they're worthless. And as a kid, when you're stuck with that and you don't have anyone around you who's trying to pull you out of it, you can get into a very dark place, and you don't have the maturity or the mindset of a adult to be like, no, I'm not gonna do that. As a kid, you're just thinking, especially if you're exposed to a lot of, gun crime or shootings and stuff like that, you just think, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
That sort of thing. And I think everybody at some point in their youth has had a thought, not a mass shooting, but just a wild thought about something that you then kind of said, maybe that's not morally right, or that's just something that shouldn't take place. And you don't even think about it again, you don't do it. Yeah. But I get what you're saying. I think when we understood the level of planning that she did into it, we realized it's more than just
a thought. It was something that she was actually planning to do. But yeah, kind of both of what you guys said, we all have thoughts, and people have hurt us in life, and we think, okay, I'm gonna do that, and then you're like, oh, that's a bit far, and then you move on. But the thought of I'm gonna do a mass shooting on even innocent people, is a bit wild. But
and I think we got to the point throughout the movie where we figured out the only reason why this didn't happen was because someone did it first.
And I feel it was because of that. Obviously, she saw the reactions as well.
Yeah,
because when she was in the line and obviously she was hearing the other kids, talking as well, she kind of thought like, oh, I'm already hated enough in the school. So imagine if I do this, I'm going to be even more hated now. I'll probably get more bullied.
Yeah, I think it's that, and also realizing like, do you know what it is for someone to die? It's not even just I made them pay and what. There's innocent people, and I think she just saw how a community reacted to the loss of life, that she then realized, oh wow, this is horrible.
I disagree. I don't necessarily think she thought it was horrible. It's when she, this part of the film is a bit hazy, but she joins the anti-gun society, and it's not necessarily that she thought it was that gun violence is horrible. She found community, she found a purpose in the society, and it gave her something to pour some more energy into. It probably made her friends. It wasn't that she thought it was bad, and maybe now that she's an adult, she thinks it's bad.
No, but I think it's a good point, but I think as she was part of that community, they also made her see the light as well. Otherwise, she could have been living a double life where 100%. You're during the day you're saying, get rid of the guns, and then at home you're just like loving up your gun. And she dashed her gun. She did all those things that show you like the thoughts of a kid, really, where all you needed was community, and community made you see that this is something that is really, really wrong. I think looking at how people's responded to that mass shooting as well has made you feel like, I'm such a horrible person for thinking about doing this. And I feel like she caught herself in that moment as a kid and didn't do it. But I think what was really scary was like, okay, but if this mass shooting did not happen, you would have done it.
You would have done it. It's a bit niche, crazy. But like you see when like influencers, for example, or celebrities get caught out and their tweets get exposed for like racism.
Stuff they did in 2010 or.
It's a bit niche, but then like I think they get to an age and they start to learn about racism and how terrible it is. They probably make more friends that are affected by it, and so kind of like Emma.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, your views change. So I take it back.
Yeah.
I agree.
So I did have a lot of sympathy for her. And after revealing that, and they went home, and that scene where she's just like, no, she actually throws up at the table, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she actually throws up on the table, and I was very uncomfortable. There was a lot of throwing up in this film, especially at the start, where I think as she was thinking about what she had got up to in the past, I think it was the thoughts that she buried so deeply that she hadn't thought about until Charlie's asking all these questions, and he's concerned, and I think that was just triggering her to just like throw up every time. And I went from being a bit disgusted at the throwing up to almost like laughing at when they went to do their wedding shoot.
That was jokes.
And they're standing next to each other.
And
the lady's like, give us a smile, and Charlie's just like.
He couldn't even smile, bro.
You can see through his eyes.
Pain.
That man was scared.
And the photographer was like, okay, and I'm gonna shoot your parents, and then I'm gonna shoot your grandparents, and then I'm gonna shoot this. And then they done the photo shoot, and then younger Zendaya with the gun comes up. The movie had very like humor that makes you uncomfortable.
Yeah, I was gonna say I liked how they we was living through Charlie's mind.
Yeah,
like as the movie was going on, it was like we were seeing imaginated like throwback scenes, or maybe like of them at the wedding, or Emma when she was younger. Even when Emma was even like explaining her story, they were given throwback scenes as well as she's saying it as a child. Like, I found that so good.
Yeah, and I think the main thing that was getting me is just thinking he's really in a bit of a hard place right now. Let's be real. If we were to find out something like this, right? We're talking about it from a general perspective, but as somebody who's about to take on this lady to be his wife, he's thinking, were you always like this? Is it... He started replaying arguments that they've had with people when she's lost her temper and she's just lost a bit of control. He's thinking this can come out at any time. Like, I think the story said they've known each other for a couple of years, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, 2 years.
Only 2 years. So 2 years she could have been on her best behavior. Who's to say that before the 2 years he's thinking you had a whole nother life before I met you? This can defo come out. We can get married and it can come out tomorrow.
Yeah, it changed his whole perspective of her. And all of a sudden that her, like, you know, when she was arguing with the cab driver, which in one before this, you thought, oh yeah, she's a strong woman, she sticks up for herself, and this is quite cute, seeing her argue. Now she's aggressive, she's possible, whatever. Possibly. She could kill someone. Like his lens has completely shifted. Yeah.
And it was funny to pick that up when he was writing his his speech, and he's had to cross over. She's so empathetic. Kind. She's so empathetic. Like, he just crossed over it a bit, and then he's like, do you know what? Get rid of the whole thing. And it's just like, wow, you're seriously thinking, who is this lady? Who is everything that you've known? You've taken what she said has to be like an assassination of her whole character. You're just not sure who this person is. And I think he can't get past that. And I think in the movie, Emma is just like, why are you fixating on this thing? But when I looked at it and I said, I think I would fixate on this thing.
It's mad because I'm fearing for my safety a little bit, low key, like not fully, because it's like if I've been with you for 2 years now, it's like I kind of feel like I know you, so I feel comfortable enough around you. But at the same time, I guess for me, I wouldn't react the way he's reacting, but I would have a lot of questions. I would have a lot of questions because I'm trying to understand.
I did think in his questions, there's also that part where she thought enough was enough and just said, I don't want to talk about it at various points. And obviously not talking about it makes him feel like we can't just get married here without...
But that's where she messes up as well, because obviously for her, that's something that she's tried to block out. She's tried to block out of her man since she was young.
Yeah, she's trying to block out and move on.
Yeah, and she's never really been in a situation or in a space where she can openly talk about that. Her dad doesn't even know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess what Charlie could have done, obviously, is crazy, and I'm thinking, like, the way he's reacting is very understandable.
Yeah.
But at the same time, kind of create a space for her to kind of like have that conversation with you, to kind of understand, because at the same time, it's not easy for her to kind of say that. She said it when she was drunk, and clearly she's very like empathetic about, you know.
I look at his behavior and I just keep on thinking, how would I act? How would I act? How would I act? And the point that he misses me is when he acts completely petrified of her.
Yeah, I thought that was a bit mad.
I'll question, like, oh, you once thought about this and that makes me see this situation a bit differently, but I wouldn't be petrified.
Remember that scene she came up with the knife?
Yeah.
I was thinking, bro, like, calm down, like, it's okay, like, she's not gonna dead you.
Yeah, I do feel like the movie kind of is saying, like, you know, your wedding vows through sickness, through health, and kind of people thinking that they actually do want to know everything about their partner. We actually don't. Like, if we're being completely honest, we don't want this perfect picture of someone to be shattered.
Yeah, no.
So, do you... Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm just
conversation,
saying.
Conversation
I'm just
after
saying.
the cameras. But do you actually want to know everything about your partner, or is a bit of ignorance good in a relationship?
Ignorance when it comes to certain things, ignorance is bliss when it comes to certain things. You can't know everything. The same way, like, I'm not saying there should be like mystery between you, but you can never figure someone out. People could be married for like 50 years straight, and before they were married, they had a life before. And you can't sit and go through every single day and tell this person every single thing you did. It's just not going to happen. When it comes up and it comes up in conversation, great. You could talk about things you did in the past. But other than that, I don't think I would take the time out to... It's just not possible. Yeah. You know, where I meet you is where I meet you. And if you're like this, I would love that your history reflects that you're like this, so I know that this person is consistent in their ways. But yeah, if they were to tell me a mad thing, I'm not sure how I would react, because I'll be honest, I thought whatever Emma did was like sexual. I'll be honest. What she did at the start, when they were talking about what is this secret?
I think that would have been too.
It would have been too easy, but I
yeah.
thought it would be like, oh, there's been many guys in her past, and she might have been married 5 times, or there's videos of her, and I thought it could be that. I genuinely thought it could be that, because that could make a man just be like, what men decide to put on the significance of a woman's part. You know how men are. Like,
have you watched that? Have you watched that show Forever? Have you heard that show Forever?
No.
Oh, I have, yeah.
Yeah, remember that girl? She had the hidden past with the video. That's something similar
so
to
it's
that.
like, oh, Forever. Yeah. How to say no? Yeah, that's one of my favorite.
Yeah, I love that.
Season 2. Yeah, that. You know how men react to that? You just think that was the cause of it. So to find out something completely unrelated, but it messes up the mind even more. It's just like, how have they done this? How have they come up with this idea where it's that?
It's so random. It's so strange. I never thought I'd see a movie that would have that subject matter, that it's actually not about school shooting at all. It's actually more about perception. But what was I going to ask? What do you actually... Oh, sorry. I was going to say, what do you think of the school shooting concept in general? Do you think it's controversial?
I was actually just gonna get there, because when Rachel's responding the way she's responding, she's coming from, my cousin was shot and now she's in a wheelchair, and there is people that felt very strongly about this film. Obviously, we're in Britain, right? So we don't experience mass shootings. I don't think we have. Guys, correct me if in the past there has been one.
Andy Murray.
It's been a long time since it happened.
Andy Murray. He was in the classroom, his primary school. Correct me if I'm wrong. His primary school. A gunman came in and he was in the classroom.
Oh, really?
In the classroom. Is that...
Was this in the 90s? Was this in the 90s or something? Because I remember reading something about this a while ago.
I hope I haven't made that.
No, you haven't.
I don't think No, I haven't.
But it's like, since that incident, that's where now like every single school has like gates now. It's like since that incident, apparently.
Okay, so... But we don't... It's not a common thing here at all compared to America.
It's weekly in America.
Yeah, so us watching it as Brits, it's just like, this is a concept.
Same for Charlie as well.
Yeah, exactly. This is a concept that, they've put in this film, and it's very interesting, and it's a bit weird, and we could go away from it and have these discussions about the film. However, there's some people that are actually deeply affected by a matter of like school shootings and murders and all this kind of stuff. So I don't think they would enjoy the film. And
some people actually went to go watch a rom-com and have been affected by school shootings and even if they didn't see the trailer. So no one can say, oh, you knew what it was going to be. No, they could see the trailer and still think it would be something else, like what I mentioned, her past or whatever, but it was on that. And it's like, once they're there, it can put you down a bit of a PTSD, like, trail of thought, where you're just like, I'm just not liking this at all. They're making, not humor, but they're also trying to make us empathize with Emma. Yeah. Whereas, no, we shouldn't be empathizing with someone that thought of doing such a crazy thing, and these people need to be dealt with. And I think Rachel was even saying, do we call the police? What did she say? Something like that. And you're just thinking, what's the police gonna do?
She was doing a lot, but it was like, did you see Rachel as like a victim?
No, she was a villain.
She was a villain.
I don't know. I didn't really see her. Well, maybe towards when she gave that speech at the wedding.
I wouldn't want.
That's
her
when I was like, oh yeah, you're fake.
I wouldn't want her at the wedding. I don't want you anywhere near that wedding, honestly. And it was quite sad, like you said. We saw a lot of the film from Charlie's lens, and we kind of got to see his personality and how he goes about things. We didn't really see that much about the current Emma. We saw things about what she did in the past, but this current version of Emma, we were getting more current version of Charlie. And I didn't really like that, because I wanted to find out, why is her chief bridesmaid, or whatever you call it, why is that Rachel? That's not your friend.
And that's, Rachel does bring that up in her speech, where she's like, don't you have any other friends? Why am I, who I met through your 2 years, and they've only been together 2 years, and I met you through your now husband. Why am I your maid of honor? So it's interesting where Emma started and how she is now, and that we didn't really get to see much of her actually as an adult.
I didn't like that at all. That made me a bit like, I want to see, maybe she doesn't have friends because she's crazy. Like, I don't know. It made me think also
because she was bullied.
I was thinking, what happened to those friends she made at the that society that she joined, the anti-gun? club.
Yeah.
It was a school thing. Maybe after school was done, that just, just didn't formulate to anything. But...
So quickly, sorry, are we going to move on to the wedding? No. Before you move on to the wedding, it did make me laugh when she was filming the video and then the Windows thing came up. That got the biggest laugh of my cinema. Did it get yours? Yeah. But also on school shootings, because I thought this was important, that although like I know a lot of people are going to say, oh my gosh, I can't believe they put this in the movie. It comes up on I'm sure for Americans anyway, it comes up on the news basically on a weekly basis. It's something that's always in their face. So can you really say, oh, there probably should have been a trigger warning, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
But that's what I was thinking, I do think it was intentional for
the shock factor.
The shock factor and also the choice, because when we talk about the mass shootings, it's predominantly done by young white males in America. And they chose a black lady to be the one that's the shooter. So I think that, in a way, I don't know if it's a cop-out by Christopher. I don't know if it is in terms of if it was, a young white male and were to see that, I think our reactions would be a lot different.
Think if it was
Charlie.
I think if it was Rachel, if it was a young white woman, especially an attractive woman, would we be like, oh... It's okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah, if it was Charlie, I don't think we would have been surprised.
We wouldn't have been surprised.
Because it's like,
there would be less sympathy towards him because it's like,
I
know there's, obviously we know about white privilege, but we already know when they talk about school shootings, we already have a profile of the people that do it.
There are statistics for this, by the way.
Yeah, we're not just talking and
cancel.
Yeah. You can't get cancelled for facts, but there is a predominant profile for these cases. And the fact that they chose it to be something completely opposite in picking Zendaya's character, Emma, is just like, why have you done that there? If you picked something that was more closer to the truth, maybe we would have walked out of that cinema just thinking, why did they even need to do this?
True.
Yeah, that's true. We would have been a bit annoyed, like, this is not something to joke about or make light heart of or whatever. These people should do it. But seeing it with Emma's character, there was a bit of sympathy for her. There was. And not just because, black woman, white woman, whatever. There was just natural sympathy for her because it's like, oh, now we can understand the shooter and what they go through. Look at the stuff I was saying at the start of the review. Like, I'm talking about, when you're a kid and people, that's what I'm doing. But if it was Charlie on the other foot and it was young, I would be like, nah, man, what kind of film was this? Why did they make us, why did they put us through this? So that's an interesting take to it. But let's actually move on to the wedding. This whole wedding came crashing down when Charlie does something before the wedding.
Charlie just went completely bonkers. He went completely bonkers, man. I swear to you. He just you know what's there? Like he didn't know what to do. He was just like, oh, bud it.
Oh my
But then this is a case of having the thought in your mind, but with him, he actually went through with it.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, you bloody fool.
Yeah.
This is where it's like, I gotta hold you accountable to that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like, why would you? This scene with him and I think his colleague Misha, was that her name? It was just more of saying, what's the worst thing you've ever done? And she said, did she say she cheated on her partner?
Yeah, that's what she said. Yeah, she said like, yeah.
Yes.
And he was like,
with his boss or something.
Yeah, and she was like, is that it? Like, he was saying to her, is that it? Because he just can't get out of his mind what Emma's told him, and he just thinks Emma's the worst person in the world. But at the end of the day, he's trying to justify why he should still marry her, and he's trying to find out does anyone else have these patterns? Is this a normal thing?
He doesn't know.
He's trying to force that out of Misha, and it doesn't obviously go anywhere. And then he goes off crying. She comes off like, "What is wrong with you?" And then he tries it on her. That scene, people were laughing at that as well because obviously her skirt was up, and it was just like, What are you doing, bro? Like, what are you actually
like? It didn't make sense, bro. Like, pattern up, man.
Yeah, like what are you actually doing? Like, I looked at it and I said, I am actually so disappointed in you because I don't understand how that triggers this. But that's basically the trigger for the wedding to go wrong because obviously now he's paranoid. Misha's paranoid. She brings her partner to the wedding as well. Rachel's just obviously cooking up stories and whatnot, and Emma catches wind of a conversation between Misha and Rachel, and it's almost like, what are you talking about? Because she's anxious that, you know, it's going to spread that she had this thing where she thought of a mass shooting, and she's just very anxious about it. So she grabs Charlie and is like, can you please explain to Misha? Try to put things, and Charlie doesn't want Misha and Rachel and Emma in the same room at all. He doesn't want anyone connecting dots. So he's trying to say, no, you must have heard wrong. They weren't talking about that. She's like, would you just go get her? And she's like, I'll get her myself. And when she was like, I'll get her myself, I was just thinking, oh, this is going to be painful to watch. And in 0.05 seconds, I think Misha just goes, did she say, why did you tell her? Or she just said something that, she said he kissed me.
Yeah, that's what she started saying.
And I was just like,
long day. She was like, wait, what?
She's like, that's not even what I brought you here for, really. And I think that's where it just triggers everything to go left, because then it's like almost Emma wants to forgive him or just forget about it and just go back to the wedding. It's now her time to give a speech. She refuses. I don't want to give the speech. And Michael's thinking, maybe you're just nervous. Let the groom do it. And he gives his speech. And that was one of the most awkward scenes I've seen in over like a year in cinema. Yeah, with Charlie giving that speech, that was very, very good, by the way, from Robert Pattinson, because that speech where he's just stuttering and he's
and it was a callback to everything that we'd heard in that first scene.
And that first,
but just told so terribly. Compared to how cute it was in the beginning.
It just showed you where his mind was at.
He was even saying, like, even when we're intimate, everyone's like, whoa.
When he said, I was thinking, this guy's killing. How could he actually say that? Because Mike told him at the beginning, don't say that. And he still went and said it.
And it's just like, everybody's like, where's this guy going? So that was hilarious until eventually, wait, what happens that causes Misha's boyfriend?
I think he blurts out, I don't care about Misha.
This was so hilarious.
No, he asked her, didn't he ask, he said, did you sleep with this guy or something like that?
I don't know what triggered it.
But he mentions it in his speech. That's what
and everybody's like, what? And even Misha's boyfriend is like,
no, he kissed me.
Yeah. It's like, yo, what's going? So then I think he's obviously annoyed that he can't get his words out. So he tells Misha's boyfriend to shut up or whatever. And then they basically have at it. Wedding is basically ruined. He gets beaten up. Emma runs away, or she's over it. He's over it. Everyone's over it. I wouldn't say wedding's cancelled. I think they did get married.
Oh, that was after the marriage.
Yeah,
that was after the ceremony.
So they are married at this point, but it's almost like, let's just leave it. Everybody just go home. That's the vibe that gave everybody just go home. And that was just a really, really good scene to watch. Seeing just Charlie, Robert Pattinson's character, just start over his words, and then everything just comes out. And I think even he asked the dad at some point. He asked Emma, "Oh, did she have access to guns?" Like he was just a mess. That whole wedding, he was brilliant. He was brilliant. He was just like a mess. But it was great. It was great. So to conclude on the film, because it was a short film. Let's be honest. It was 1 hour 45 minutes. So probably one of the shortest films you might see this year.
But then we have the ending.
The ending.
Are you going to the ending?
Yeah. I'm going to the ending. And I feel like the ending was triggered by so many points where Emma was saying to Charlie, let's just restart during the movie. And he was saying, it's not going to work. Like, what are you doing? They tried to role play it and it just wasn't happening. But at the end, after Secret's out, everyone's embarrassed. Everything's just a mess. He's been beaten up. Everyone's looking crazy is when they decide to start again.
Yeah, sorry, basically that picture exactly.
Basically, that's what we get at the final scene where they meet up at a burger house or whatever. And at first I'm thinking she might just ignore him because she walks past him and obviously he's looked at her. She's not said anything. But she literally just comes to him and she's like, "Hey, my name's Emma. How did you get the black eyes?" And he's told a story about how he stopped a robbery,
he stopped a woman with her baby, and then she's like, "Why was a woman walking her baby at night?" That was quite funny. That was
So basically, the movie ends with them restarting again.
You think they restarted?
I do.
Yes.
You think so?
I do, and I think now because he has committed not worse sins, but he's ruined the wedding.
Cheated. Exposed her.
I think he's exposed himself to be like, what even are you? Are you even like a stand-up guy? Like, he's just a mess to the point where she's not even. Well, she is.
She doesn't look that bad in comparison, to be fair.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I think it's like his weight lifted off her shoulders, I think, to a degree.
Yeah.
Because even he's confused himself. He tries to justify to, I think, Rachel and Michael at some point in the movie that, she saw a car crash and it made her paranoid. And It's like, no, she didn't.
Yeah, I like that because the
lies.
scene before it showed that she actually did see. She's heard of a car crash of her neighbor or something, and she didn't really care about it.
Because
and then he tried to lie about it.
Because he's trying to justify like why she could have had these thoughts, right?
Yeah.
So he's thinking, did anything happen in your childhood? And she was like, oh, she tells him a story about one of her friends died in a car crash, but she wasn't there to witness any of that. But he's now being, okay, cool, I could use this to kind of, make myself feel better, make other people feel better, and saying, but he was just a mess. So I think at the end, it was just both of them looking at each other and saying, I'm not better than you, you're not better than me.
We see each other now fully for who we are now, and now we can live life together as honestly as possible. Yeah. But it was a nice callback of starting again at the beginning of the film. Funny enough, like, from the beginning of the film, he's been telling little white lies throughout the film as well. Their whole relationship started on a lie. He lied about the book.
He's a criminal.
So to be honest, he's like by the end.
That's just poor Riz, though.
That's
just poor Riz, though.
But by the end of the film, I don't know. He's not looking too great in comparison. He's actually
not smelling the roses in the
and
end,
she is actually. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to excuse the thing that she done or what she planned with the school shooting. However, she's the only character in the whole film to show some amount of forgiveness and grace. That started with the DJ.
She showed start with the DJ.
The DJ, when they saw the DJ smoking, and he was like, no, we need to fire her. And she was like, like, maybe it's just something she does on her off day. Yeah. Maybe she's having a bad day. Maybe this is the worst day of her week, sort of thing. She's the only character that shows some kind of grace and forgiveness.
And rationale and not panic. Everybody else, maybe Michael as well. Michael was all right. He seemed to be a steady...
It's because she was more accepting of like she more or less moved past it, but she just wasn't sure how the public would react
and
to
how
a situation.
Everybody else would be. I think everybody was just volatile in the film, apart from her, which is like, but she's the one that had the crazy past. But somehow, it does show people can move on. Hopefully, she's moved on from having those sort of thoughts. But in the film, we're led to believe she's moved on. She's in a completely different place. But everybody else is stuck up on the past, and now her past is affecting their future. It's a very good film that kind of plays at the mind of what would you do? Generally, what would you do? And it was a realistic, as much as we're saying that the topic is sensitive, it is very realistic in terms of this could be a real thing. How would you respond to this? Because if it was something crazy, you could say, oh, I can never picture that. But this is something that no one would have known. She planned this in her room when she was 15. She could have taken that to the grave. And there's so many things people have done that they're going to take to the grave. But she said it, and now everyone's going to judge her for it. So
maybe, and not to, I don't know, but maybe she even feels a bit better now that she's gotten this off of her chest.
That's what I'm thinking,
in hindsight, maybe not to Rachel and Mike, but to Charlie, who is her husband now.
Because you can imagine if it was said privately, I guarantee you it would be different. We wouldn't get this film. We wouldn't get this film. We could have still, but I think Rachel is to blame.
I think Rachel's the blame.
I think Rachel just represents people who are just like so like, when you're like so against something, is that anyone that's kind of linked to it or had the thought about doing something like that is like, I'm not messing with you. And you know, in America,
made it all about herself. Though, my cousin whether
in America, that's how it is. Like if you talk about gun control to certain Americans, they stand, oh, you can't tell me that's my right, all this stuff there. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? And I think like with Mike represented more of like, it's like us in the sense of like, okay, we know what she thought was bad, but at the same time she didn't do it. Yeah. So it was questioning like, oh yeah, like did she? I feel like Michael's kind of representing people like us in the sense of that thought.
I think Rachel tried to say that Michael grew up around guns.
She was like, no, her dad was a cop, right?
His dad was a cop, but he tried to say he grew up around
slight racial undertones there.
Racial. She's not a great person, and I personally feel like she was projecting a lot, and because she what's her face?
Who?
Emma was bullied and that's why she was making the decisions that she was making. Rachel was the bully. Yeah. She literally locked a child with special needs in a closet. Yeah. That
mean girl energy.
I think, and then Charlie was also a cyber bully if he wasn't, and they were the ones that reacted the worst. It's almost like they're projecting because they know that they are like the real terrible people, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah, that's practically the movie. Let's get onto some Ash numbers.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, we can run with that.
Yeah. Okay. Round up in a bit.
So the budget for the film, you made a post about this, but the budget for the film, the numbers I've got is 28 million. I think it might have been 27 to 28 million. And it has, as we speak, made 28 million in the box office. So it's made back its budget. But more than anything, it's like I haven't seen so much buzz around the film. It's not, I have seen a lot of buzz around the film, but a film where it's like, guys, go see it before it gets ruined for you, because once it gets ruined for you, that's it. There's no, you're not going to enjoy the film. You're not going to want to see it, and you're not going to get the same experience as the rest of us. So I haven't seen that in a long time. I can't remember the last time I saw that.
It just has so much shock factor.
Yeah, maybe like Avengers.
It's crazy because even when I was watching I did watch some reviews on it. Like even they weren't really trying to spoil it too much with the big reveal. They were just kind of going around it. Yeah, because that literally is the film.
And once you get in there, then.
Because even one of my boys, Angelo. Yeah. He said like 2 of his friends watched it. One person rated it like a 4, and everyone rated it like a 6. And when he asked my rating, I gave him my rating, and he said, "Oh, like, what is it about this film?" I said, "Bro, like, honestly, I can't even tell you about spoiling it. It's one of the ones that, like, with other films, I'm able to kind of explain and give you my reasons as to why I feel like it's this and that. But this one,
you're gonna say the whole film.
This is the first time I was like, I can't even. Yeah.
And just for more numbers, it rated 75% on Rotten Tomatoes, which isn't great in comparison to a lot of the films that we've even spoken about recently. Sinners, for example, was like 99, 98%. Avatar done quite well as well. So I
think that's just down to maybe the subject matter of what the reveal
that's what a lot of people have like really sat on, is the subject matter.
Not the
and
actual
I think there's
acting.
But I think there's layers. There's the first layer is the subject matter. If you can't get past that, then you're not going to get anything from out of this film.
Yeah, agreed. Have we got any reviews, Faze?
Yes, we do. So we'll start with the good one. 8 out of 10. They titled it "The Worst and the Best." They said the best part of this film is that it is a good film. The worst part of this film is that everyone is talking about a twist. By even suggesting there's a twist in press releases, online gossip, etc., an audience will be expecting something. And that, by definition, means some people will appreciate the tip. But for the vast majority of us, it will set us up for waiting for it and potentially be disappointed. They should shut the F up.
Okay.
In other words, don't watch the trailer. Don't watch the trailer. This next one is a 4 out of 10. They said a Reddit post brought to life. This entire movie was basically a Reddit post shot in 4K. The first half was unnecessarily dragged after the tension was revealed. The second half had quite a few gripping moments, but the ending was disappointing, man. The story missed to explore a few interesting angles. Could have been different, honestly.
I kind of agree. Disagree.
Because you said you wanted more a bit of Emma, innit? That's what you said.
I did want a bit, but I wouldn't use that to give a 4 out of 10. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
If we were to give our ratings, we'll start on my side. I'm giving it 8 out of 10. I think it just checked a lot of boxes in terms of like shock factor, enjoyment, laughs, the fact that there's so much discourse that we have to have after it. And it was short and concise. Sometimes films get dragged out, and I am honest when things get dragged out. Avatar, Fire and Ash, I was just thinking, when is this going to end? But this was more of like, wow, I got what I came here for, and I'm going home to enjoy my Friday evening. That's how I felt. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for me.
I gave it like a 7.5 out of 10. Like you said, I agree with most of your points that you brought up. But I guess the only thing, I would have given it 8, but I guess the only thing for me is just, if there was a bit more on Emma, because when he was making a point about, it was a lot about Charlie, we saw a lot about Charlie. We knew about Emma before, but we didn't see how she was as an adult now. I guess if I had seen that, I would have been a bit more intrigued into her character. Yeah. So I give it 7.5.
No. Do you know what's funny? I left the cinema and I said, oh yeah, that was all right. I think I'll give it about 6, maybe. It was fine. But it is the type of film that I've, number one, not stopped thinking about it. Number two, I haven't stopped talking about it. And especially when I find someone that's watched it, I'm like, okay, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? And I keep encouraging those people.
Bad films don't do that.
Yes. And I saw a quote. It's by someone called something Schaefer. A good film starts when you leave the theatre.
Yes.
And for me personally, like this film, for me, I've just loved speaking about it so much. That's
I love
been
that
my
quote.
favorite
I might
part.
use that quote, yeah.
Oh, thank you. It was actually me that made that. I need to find out who actually said that. But so yeah, 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I feel like when you have a film, when you leave a film and it has you talking like this and thinking like this and conversating with other people, like it's a good film. Like I don't think like it's like bad films don't make you do that in my opinion, because you'll talk about it, you'll rip on it, and then you'll leave it. But I feel like this one, the discourse around it is definitely gonna last for a while, in my opinion.
Okay, so overall that gives us a score of 7.8, really, which is quite good. So we reviewed, this will be the 26th film that we've reviewed on the Movie Club ever. And this goes into number 7. And it goes above F1. F1 is 7.7. This goes in at 7.8 above that. I'll quickly just say a few staple movies that we've done so you get the positionings roughly of our table. Doom Part 2 is not moving at 9.3, alongside Sinners at 9.3. We have Deadpool and Wolverine at number 9, 7.5. John Wick 4 at 7.5. If you go down the table, we have Captain America 6.4, Joker 5.9.
What, we've done that.
Argyle 5.9. So roughly where this movie sits at 7.8 shows that on our list, amongst everything that we reviewed, this is solid.
Yeah,
no, it was actually a solid film. I'm not gonna lie to you. For it to start with romance and then go into like a psychological kind of like drama, dark satire setting, I thought it was pretty good. I've never actually experienced that with a romance film. That's actually the first time.
And have we done romance before?
No,
we haven't. This is our first rom-com.
Did we do Wuthering Heights?
No, we didn't.
We didn't. Why did I feel like we done that?
No,
because you went to go see it.
I went to go see it. Yeah, that's why.
I
went to see it,
but we never actually got on the podcast.
Yeah. I think 7.8 is like pretty perfect, because I wouldn't even say it's like, oh my gosh, that was the best film I've ever seen before, but that it has made me use my brain and 100%. Speak to other people as well.
Yeah.
It's brought community, I'd say.
Yeah. So guys, that is our review. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe. The next review we'll be reviewing is Michael. That drops April 24th, I believe. But we'll probably be reviewing that the first week of May. So I'm excited for that. Hope you guys are too. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.
Peace.